Good evening. Taking you guys for a walk with me. Just wanted to chat quickly about depression, some of the common themes that keep coming up in my calls. So, we all have the inner critic within us. Our ego was constantly sending us thoughts about the problems in our life, sending us thoughts about our flaws, making us relive embarrassing moments or stressful moments, or moments that caused us shame or guilt. And many, many years ago, the ego served a very good purpose to keep us alive and to make us assess our environment and look out for signs of danger. But now in today's world, that voice can get carried away, especially if we don't learn how to silence it. And in an ever-increasing noisy world where we're constantly busy and stimulated, the chatter in our head can get carried away. And I noticed that the people who are dealing with depression tend to put an overimportance to those thoughts. It becomes obsessive thinking, ruminating over the same situation over and over again. When you're commuting to work, when you wake up in the morning, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're driving in your car, you're rehashing and replaying the same events over and over and over. The next day you wake up, it's the same thoughts that are going through your head over and over and over, usually with no resolution, and each day making you feel worse and worse. When we learn how thoughts create our reality along the healing journey, which is more of the advanced stages of healing, you learn that the quality of your thoughts affect the quality of your experiences. We can look back and remember how when we were stuck in negative thinking patterns, how it brought us down, how it made us feel hopeless, how it made us feel like there was no point in life or in asserting effort or in setting goals. And I just want to remind people that we all have that voice. We all have the ego sending us those negative thoughts, telling us that we could have done something better, telling us that we're socially awkward, telling us that we messed up at work, telling us that we're in a terrible relationship, we're shitty parents, we're overweight, we said something stupid. We all have that same system that's sending us those same types of thoughts. And you have to make a decision each day, especially when you're in depressed moods. You have to continue making a decision each day to silence that voice. And I have a little trick I use from the movie Luca that I share with my clients. And there's a part in the movie Luca where he tells the voice, Silenzio Bruno. He's trying to accomplish something new, and he tells the voice, Silenzio Bruno. And that's what I do when I'm scared, when I'm taking on a new challenge, when I'm setting a new goal, or when I've come across a big life challenge, something that is concerning me or stressing me out. I don't have the resolution for it yet, and I find that it's circling in my mind more than I want it to be. I just say, Silenzio Bruno, I hear you, I hear you, I got this. And it's that easy to begin training your mind on how to stop that chatter. It's that easy. It sounds hard. It feels hard when the thoughts are so obsessive and persistent. But you have to find the will and the want and the discipline to turn away from those thoughts and remind yourself that that voice or those thoughts are not unique to you. You're not special. You're not broken. Nothing is happening to you that isn't happening to every other human here on this planet. The more you make a decision every day to turn away from those thoughts, the better quality thoughts will take their place. The better you'll begin to feel. Because those thoughts generate chemical releases in your body, and you can become biologically addicted to them, repeating the same negative story in your head. Even if it's not true, every day you'll remember it in a way that's a little bit more abusive to you, in a way that's a little more hurtful to you, because we have this tendency to self-abuse ourselves and make ourselves helpless or recant the past in ways that are more extreme. And we will become addicted to the chemical release of those negative thoughts. So I want you guys to be mindful of when you are persisting in negative thinking, repeating the same story from yesterday over and over. I want you to be mindful that every time you're repeating those negative thoughts, that you are reintroducing them into your future. You're bringing them back to life. The past is the past, and it can only come back into your future when you rethink it. So remember that your negative chatter doesn't make you unique. Remember that you're obsessing over these thoughts each day, and you're solidifying the wiring to that story every time you rethink it. You're creating actual neural pathways in your brain that solidify those stories and narratives in your life. You start to identify with them. You become addicted to the chemical release. And you have free will to turn that chatter off. You have free will to say, yeah, I heard the story, thank you. I don't need to hear it anymore. I want to think about new things today. Today I'm going to think about X, Y, and Z. Today I'm going to tell myself that things do get better. Today I'm going to tell myself a new story. I don't need to keep rehashing these stories and thoughts and abusing myself. It's in the past. It happened. Me overthinking it and obsessing over the thoughts about it isn't solving anything. Time to move past it. So remember that obsessive thinking over negativity, rehashing the past in your head over and over and over, is a direct path to depression. When we find ourselves depressed, it's because we've made a conscious decision to keep going down that dark path, to keep going down that dark tunnel of no resolution, of no quality. It's a decision. You can keep telling yourself those negative stories, or you can start telling yourself better stories and wiring your brain to those better possibilities and better solutions and better perspectives. And day by day, little by little, you'll see the quality of your life change. You'll start to feel a little bit better, even if it's 1% better each day. You'll stop the addiction you have to the chemical release. And it won't be so hard. Eventually, the wiring to that story and the wiring to those thoughts will die off. And the thoughts that you've replaced them with will take root. And that will become the new pattern in your brain. And that's how new moods are created. And those new moods lead to new personalities. And if you need some help, reach out to me. Because when we're depressed, we need more help. When we're depressed, we're stuck in that dense feeling and dense thinking. It's when we need emotional connection. It's when we need people the most to lift us up out of that. It's when we need to find the resources Whether it's getting out and walking, making sure we're sleeping well, making sure we're eating well. It takes some effort when we're in that depressed state. It's the hardest state to pull ourselves out of mentally. And it feels like great work. It feels like so much effort has to be exerted to pull yourself out of it. But that's an illusion. It's an illusion. You have a free will every day to decide, do I want to stay in this state or do I want to move away from it? And it just starts with small steps, like telling the voice, telling the thought, silencio, Bruno. Silencio. I don't want to hear you. Be quiet. I heard you already yesterday and the day before and the day before. I don't want to hear you anymore. And then do one thing that can make yourself feel a bit better. Do something creative. Go outside and garden. Work on a project. Paint. Write. Walk. Eat something healthy. Do one thing that you could be proud of yourself for each day and build on that. That's the work. It's not so hard. It's not so hard. I see my people doing it. Okay? Make the right decision to not turn away from people. Answer the phone when you don't want to, when you don't feel like talking to people. Answer the phone. You're going to feel better after you get off the call. You owe it to yourself, and you can do it. Okay? Compose yourself.